They say, keep your friends close, but few ever ask, how close before they bite. We grow up believing friendship is sacred. Movies, stories, and culture sell us the image of loyalty that lasts forever. But step into adulthood, and that illusion begins to fracture. You start to see that most people don't love you, they love the way you make them feel. They love your presence when it comforts them. They love your time when it fills their emptiness. They love your energy when it lifts their spirits. But the moment you no longer feed their need, their affection fades. Friendship, stripped of all poetry, is often an emotional transaction. You offer value, attention, validation, help, laughter, and they reciprocate as long as it suits them. Once the scales tip, once you start to grow in ways they can't control or match, the smiles grow thinner, the conversations shorter, the energy colder. They say, you've changed. But what they really mean is, you've outgrown the role I wanted you to stay in. The illusion begins when you confuse companionship for loyalty. A friend loves you as long as your success doesn't challenge theirs. Once it does, their support turns into subtle competition. Human nature never loses its animal core, it only learns to disguise it. What we call friendship, Machiavelli would call an alliance of convenience. When that alliance stops serving both parties, the jungle law returns. The wise man doesn't hate that truth. He accepts it. Because when you stop expecting loyalty from snakes, betrayal stops being painful, it becomes predictable. 2. The mask of jealousy. Jealousy doesn't always roar. Sometimes it smiles. It hides behind compliments that sound supportive but sting beneath the surface. Bro, you're lucky. You've been acting different lately. Don't forget where you came from. Those words are not advice, they're envy in disguise. Jealousy is quiet poison. It doesn't kill you immediately, it corrodes slowly. The jealous friend won't confront you directly, confrontation would reveal his insecurity. Instead, he'll sabotage subtly, by doubting you, by withdrawing affection, by planting small seeds of guilt. He'll frame your ambition as arrogance. He'll disguise envy as humor. And when you win, he'll go silent, not because he didn't see it, but because your light blinded him. Understand this, jealousy is admiration that turns sour. The ones who envy you are often the ones who once looked up to you. They loved you until your success became a mirror reflecting what they refused to become. The wise man doesn't despise envy, he recognizes it as proof of his progress. Because no one envies mediocrity. They envy distinction. 3. Why friends secretly compete with you. Competition is the unspoken truth of male friendship. Every man carries an invisible scoreboard in his head, even among his closest friends. Who's more successful? Who's more respected? Who's more desired? The ego feeds on comparison, and friendship often becomes the arena for it. You notice it when you share good news, and they change the subject. You notice it when you're struggling, and they suddenly feel more confident. You notice it when your discipline makes them uncomfortable, and they label it obsession. That's not coincidence, that's hierarchy. Every group of men subconsciously arranges itself by dominance, competence, and status. When one man begins to rise, he disrupts the balance. The others don't hate him, they just feel smaller in his presence. This is why even good-hearted men can turn resentful. Your growth challenges their comfort. Your ambition exposes their excuses. The Stoics warned against dependence on approval, because once your peace relies on validation, you're chained to their perception of you. Break that chain. Stop performing for friendship. Your purpose is not to be understood, it's to evolve. The only competition that matters is with your former self. The rest is noise. The fool competes for status, the wise compete for self-mastery. 4. Betrayal behind smiles. Betrayal is not always thunder, it's often silence. It's the quiet withdrawal after your success. The slow disappearance after your downfall. The secrets you shared now passed around as stories. The modern snake doesn't hiss, it laughs with you, listens to you, and studies your weaknesses. Then one day, it strikes, not out of hatred, but jealousy disguised as justice. The betrayal of an enemy is expected. The betrayal of a friend shatters illusions. But the Stoic man doesn't crumble, he learns. He understands that betrayal is the natural end of false connection. It's the universe cleansing your circle. When you lose a friend to betrayal, you don't lose loyalty, you lose illusion. Don't curse the snake. Thank it. Because every betrayal you survive removes another mask from your world. 5. The psychology of envy. Envy is the quiet disease of the soul. It festers in silence, behind smiles and laughter, feeding on comparison. While hate is loud, envy is polite. A hater declares himself an enemy. But an envious man plays the role of friend, studying you, pretending support, while hoping for your stumble. Envy says, I wish I had what you have, but feels, you don't deserve what you have. It's admiration poisoned by bitterness. The danger lies in its proximity to love. The same people who cheer for you today can envy you tomorrow, because both emotions spring from fascination. They admire what you represent, until that representation reminds them of their own failures. You must understand this paradox. The brighter your light, the darker the shadows you create. Your progress exposes others' stagnation. Your success reminds them of their cowardice. This is why peaceful men walk alone. They know that groups built on comparison can never sustain harmony. Only solitude offers freedom from envy's silent claws. 6. The power of solitude. Solitude is not exile, it's evolution. It's the temple where your thoughts regain purity, where your mind learns to breathe without noise. The man who fears being alone is destined to be controlled, because his emptiness demands company, even if it's toxic. In solitude, you meet the only friend who never betrays you, yourself. You hear your own thoughts, unfiltered by the opinions of others. You stop living for validation and start living for vision. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire surrounded by flatterers and snakes, yet he wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That is solitude, not loneliness, but power in silence. The man who learns to walk alone becomes immune to abandonment. Because when you no longer crave company, snakes lose their leverage. 7. Why real loyalty is rare. Loyalty is not proven in prosperity, it's revealed in crisis. When the lights go out, the truth walks in. A loyal friend stands by you not because it benefits him, but because it defines him. He protects your name when you're absent, defends your character when it's attacked, and celebrates your success without comparison. But such men are rare, almost mythical. Most people are loyal to comfort, not character. They will cheer for you until it costs them something. So test loyalty not with words, but with silence, absence, and discomfort. Who stays when you have nothing to give? That's your real circle. The smaller your circle, the stronger your kingdom. Because too many voices weaken the crown. 8. When success turns friends into enemies. Success doesn't change you, it exposes them. When you start rising, something inevitable happens, your achievements act as a mirror reflecting the hidden insecurities of those around you. Friends who once laughed with you now grow quiet. Acquaintances who once celebrated your ideas suddenly question them. They ask, why him, instead of, how can I learn? This is not a matter of malice, it is the law of human psychology. When someone ascends beyond your perceived limit, it triggers the unspoken envy that simmers beneath politeness. Suddenly, their presence feels different, their tone subtly sharper, their energy slightly colder. The silent retreat of envy. Notice the patterns. They stop calling. They congratulate you less, or with lukewarm politeness. They stop sharing your joy, but quietly measure themselves against your growth. Their silence is not harmless. It is a subtle declaration, you've passed the point where they feel comfortable next to you. Their absence is proof, their criticism is confession. In the emotional economy of human relationships, envy is a tax levied against those who rise above mediocrity. The more visible your growth, the more it highlights their stagnation. And because few can admit inadequacy, they withdraw or act with passive aggression. The emotional law of growth. This is the principle every ambitious man must understand. When you evolve, you outgrow not just habits, but people. Your energy will no longer resonate with those who glorify comfort, fear challenge, or worship stagnation. Your focus, discipline, and standards create natural boundaries, whether you enforce them or not. The man who chases approval, explanation, or validation from those who cannot match his growth will only waste energy. Let them drift. Let them remain comfortable in mediocrity. Your responsibility is to your own ascent. The lion analogy. A lion does not apologize for outgrowing the pack. It walks alone when necessary, its head high, its gaze fixed, aware that strength often requires solitude. In human terms, this means being willing to rise above the gravitational pull of envy, gossip, and comparison. The path of success is naturally isolating, not as punishment, but as purification. Every lost friend is a gain in clarity. Every drifting companion is a reminder that your environment adjusts to your value, not your history. 9. How to detach emotionally and stay untouchable. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it is mastery. It is the understanding that control over oneself is the ultimate control over the world. The Stoics called this apatheia, a state in which destructive emotions lose their hold. It is freedom from being manipulated by jealousy, betrayal, or flattery. The Machiavellian approach. The Machiavellian man observes relentlessly, speaks sparingly, and reacts minimally. He listens to gossip, but never internalizes it. He smiles not to please, but to conceal intent. He engages, but never becomes dependent. He protects, but never overcommits. Detachment does not mean disengagement. It means maintaining balance. You can still care deeply, love authentically, and build bonds, but without allowing them to dictate your emotional state. The discipline of emotional sovereignty. Begin with awareness, notice when someone provokes irritation, envy, or fear. Recognize that these reactions are not obligations, they are choices. You can choose to respond, or remain neutral. Practice the pause, the moment between stimulus and reaction is where power lives. Silence is a shield, observation is a weapon. When you control your response, no external chaos can penetrate your inner world. Detachment as power. In a world rife with manipulation, emotional detachment is the ultimate advantage. No betrayal can destabilize you. No flattery can corrupt you. No social pressure can coerce you. You become untouchable not by fighting enemies, but by remaining unassailable. Your energy becomes scarce, and your presence commanding. People instinctively respect what cannot be manipulated. The Stoic and Machiavellian man does not chase emotions. He cultivates them, controls them, and deploys them strategically. 10. The Stoic way, trust no one, respect all. The highest wisdom is balance, not paranoia, but clarity. The Stoic man neither idealizes friendship nor despises it. He observes human nature with precision. Every person carries both light and darkness, loyalty and envy, kindness and selfishness. The paradox of trust. Trust no one completely. Why? Because unconditional trust is naivete disguised as faith. Even the closest ally has limits, weaknesses, and motives that shift with circumstance. Respect everyone. Why? Because respect costs nothing, yet grants insight, peace, and strategic clarity. Respect allows you to navigate relationships with awareness rather than expectation. Be kind, but cautious. Be generous, but measured. Be open, but never fully exposed. Marcus Aurelius wrote. The wise man expects betrayal, but he never lets it poison his soul. Expecting darkness without becoming it is the Stoic secret. Walking awake. You do not need to hate anyone. Hatred binds you to the one you despise. You do not need to isolate yourself. Isolation is avoidance, not wisdom. Walk awake in the world. Smile, but observe. Help, but do not depend. Love, but stay grounded. This is the Stoic path, heart armored, mind sharpened, soul awake. It is the path of power with peace. Preparation over reaction. When you understand human nature, betrayal no longer shocks you, it informs you. When envy approaches, you recognize it and adjust. When admiration turns to jealousy, you remain composed. You rise above every manipulation, every disappointment, every subtle attack. Because your foundation is not others' approval, it is your own mastery. To live this way is to become untouchable, free, and sovereign. You no longer fear betrayal, because you expect it, prepare for it, and transcend it. The world of men is full of snakes. Some smile, some whisper, some withdraw. But the man who walks awake sees them all, and walks past them unscathed, regal, and untouchable.